me, Jason. Janice wanted to hit the go live button before I was ready. Thanks, Janice. She's off camera. Come on, say hi. Hi. There we go. Now that that's done, let's go ahead to the next scene, honey, and bring in our good friend, Jeff. Jeff, how are
Hello,
you today?
everybody.
What the heck is going on there? What was that with the. That
Crickets.
was.
Crickets.
Yeah,
I got no applause. I got nothing.
weird.
Oh, there it is. There it is. There's my
Oh,
applause. Never mind.
there we go. There we go. This is something Jeff's doing. Now I
Sorry,
understand.
I found out there's a soundboard here. So, uh, get ready for stuff down the road. I have buttons
Okay.
I can push now.
All right, that's cool. Hey, everybody, thanks for joining us tonight. Hey, Damien. Hey, Joey from Decks and Drafts. It's great to see both of you in the crowd. We're going to have a lot of fun tonight. We're going to reveal some new cards once again with some exciting tweaks based on some feedback we got from the community. We're also going to
hmm
be talking a bit, answering a few questions people have been asking. Massive volume difference, which way, Joey? Which one of us is louder than the other?
Ooh,
Sorry,
is
apparently
it
there's a
me? Am I too
massive
loud?
volume.
I
Let's
feel
find
like
out
I'm
which
too
one it
loud.
is.
Okay, we're waiting on you, Joey. Everyone's dead silence and don't move, so it'll look like we froze while we're waiting for an answer.
Okay, so we're just going to talk quietly for a minute until we find out who is
We'll just
louder so we
whisper.
can fix it.
We can do like an ASMR
Jeff
thing
is
where
much,
we're just,
much louder and Jason is super quiet. Okay, let me
well, that's
see if
very interesting.
that's, let me see if I can get myself turned up more or
If
maybe
not, let
just,
me see if I can turn myself down. Where's my
where is mine? I think this is one right
uh
here.
oh, you know what?
Let me
I can
see.
pull it down from here.
I think I've turned mine up. Let me know if mine is more appropriate now because I
I'm gonna
think that
knock mine
slider
down
was
a
for
bit
my
too.
volume, which
I've
that's weird
lowered
because
mine a bit too now. Is mine better?
yeah,
Do we
let us
sound
know.
better, Joey? Are we pleasing to your ears at this moment? This is a great way to start a video, eh? 10 minutes of troubleshooting. Even though we did our sound check beforehand, this is yeah, that's how it works.
Well, it's hard because you never have the third party when you're doing sound check. I hear you, you hear me to each
True,
other. We think it's fine. But without a
true.
third independent party, like watching in the private preload
Yep,
stream or whatnot, you know?
yep,
So,
that's true. Very, very true. We can start going if we want. I'll move the mic a bit further away from me too. So I'll pick
sure.
up maybe a little more ambient noise, but then it also won't be in my face. So you can see my beautiful something. You both inched it to something manageable, but you're still both pretty off. Okay, let me drop mine down.
Okay.
How's that? That might be a little bit better now. Do you guys still hear me clearly?
Well, I can tell when I look at my computer that your signal is hitting the red every time you talk. It's like spiking.
Even now? Continue like still?
Oh yeah, yeah, buddy. You are like
All right.
now that I'm looking at the feed, I see that you're deafening loud.
Let me see
So
what I. Oh, there we are. Whoop. How's this now? Is this better? I just dropped it down in Discord itself. It was at full volume in Discord. Did that help at
yeah,
all?
split the difference with what you adjusted it. Go back to
Oh,
about
combined
halfway
partially.
between.
Okay, let's go there. Here, 75%.
Oh, and I'm still
How
quiet.
is that? Is that better? Hey, don't knock it. For once Jason's quiet, leave it be. He took
I
them
just
off so
have
you
to
couldn't even hear me say that, thank God.
I just have to check a couple things here to see if my volume can go up anymore. Well, that's the slide that goes there. Sorry guys, I'm working on it just for a second.
Yeah, as long as we don't cut out or we're not too quiet when we say the important things, that's all that really matters. This preamble stuff is okay to be a little bit off.
Well, it is nice to you know what, maybe I'll just try talking louder. Let me know if this helps. Maybe I could just like bellow into the mic a bit. Maybe that'll like make it better.
Yeah,
Hey
you
David
project and I'll move
Clayton.
a little bit further away. How's
Hey
that?
David Clayton. Hey JC. It's good to see you both here in the chat tonight. We are excited to have you here. We're gonna have some fun talking about a lot of exciting things in Genesis. And as long as JC's in the chat, he can verify some of it as an independent yet not independent third party.
Semi-independent? A
Semi-independent third party.
2.5 party? Do they have a 2.5? It's what do they call it
Uh,
in video games when someone is part of the like not part of the team but kind of part of the team? It's a second party they call it, right? I think
yeah,
second
something
party
like that. Yeah,
developer,
yeah.
something along those lines. Yeah.
So
So
what do we?
Jason, how have you guys
Oh
been?
yeah. Well, I've been great up here. I think you've been pretty good up here too, right? She's giving the thumbs up there. So yeah, we've been good. How about you, Jeff?
I've been doing very well, barring the thunderstorm that I thought was going to kill everything I was working on today to try and get you some stuff for tonight's reveal. Which, oh, sorry, I let it spoil. There is a reveal tonight of some stuff, but yeah, I was worried that I was going to get a power failure and it was just going to kill everything because I was working on a desktop, not a laptop, and yeah, no battery backup. So it was, thank God it didn't go down, but we had a pretty nasty thunderstorm going for a while.
Well, I didn't have a power outage, but I did lose a lot of my work at one point today.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Jason. Do just always remember the server is just someone else's computer in a different place. That's all I can
That's
say. Just
fair.
remember
That's
that.
fair.
That's all a server is. It's a
For
computer in another place.
for those of you who are wondering what I'm referring to, if you haven't recently, make sure you take some time later on and check out genesisbattleofchampions.com because both Jeff and I have been working simultaneously from different locations on it, trying to update it, put a lot of information into it. And yeah, it's taking shape, and we're getting some useful information on Genesis Battle Champions. Really starting to make it that informational hub that people can check out during the week instead of having to just wait for live videos to hear answers to stuff.
Yep,
So I'm excited about
yep,
that. It's good. It's starting to feel like our website now. You know,
yep,
we're personalizing it a bit, and I'm excited about that. Lots of good stuff on JenesisBattleChampions.com.
yeah.
W-
Jason wrote a couple articles there multiple times because of some interference on my
yeah,
behalf in the back.
one of
So
those articles did have to
yeah,
get written twice, but it was worth it. It's what do you call it? A labor of love. So
labor of love. Yes,
yeah.
that's a good one. Yep, yep.
So where do we want to start tonight? What do we want to talk about first?
Do we want to tackle? I know we always do it this way. We do a couple questions, then a reveal, and a couple more questions. We don't have a ton of questions. We've got four of them. Do we want to do two questions, play a little video, and then another couple questions? Do we want to attack it that way? Would that work
Sure,
for
let's
you
go
guys?
ahead. Let's start with a couple questions.
Okay.
I love talking to the community, and I love the sound of my voice and your voice. So it's a win and a win.
So if anyone has any questions, throw them in the chat. I've got four questions for us to burn through. So I'm going to start with the first one that I can answer because it's a simple question because we've answered it before. The question came in on our email, which actually pointing back to Genesis Battle of Champions website, we have a question form there. So you can enter questions in there that will come through for us to answer through our Monday live streams or by whatever other means we can. Right now, it's just the Monday live streams we're getting back to people on. That's the best way so the whole community gets answers at the same time.
Yep.
Whose voice sounds more soothing, Jason or Jeff? Well, John, that depends. I can go very deep, like a radio announcer. I've been told I have a face for radio very much, so something like this might be very soothing if you check out the top 50 live at 10 o'clock. How was that? Did that help, John? Anyways, the question is Kickstarter in the future. We've answered this before. If you go on the website, we do actually have it as part of our frequently asked questions type thing right now. The answer is we do not see that in the future at this point in time. We're going through regular distribution channels. We want to get the game out the way games are meant to be put out there, not by a flash in the pan type thing. We want to go for the long haul, which is through proper distribution channels, through game stores and whatnot. Um, Question for you if you want, Jason. Um, the lore from the past that came down off the website when we did our rehash there. What are your
Mhm.
thoughts on the history of what we have written from before?
Well, Jeff, I'm going to put you on the spot for a second.
Ooh,
Can I give them the full, unedited, honest answer, Jeff? Or no?
why not? I mean,
Sure.
let's be honest.
Yeah.
If we're going to be honest,
All right.
yeah.
Let's be honest. I think, and you know, it's funny because I was rewatching some of our old videos to get those questions and answers that we'd already talked about before, and I'm pretty sure this actually came up in one of them at one point. Is as far as the existing lore, the pre-existing lore, I should say, it's going to be changing a little bit because storyline wise, there's going to be a bit of a shift or a change or something to that effect, where we're going to make some of the things that maybe didn't quite make sense in the past, like somebody summoning tigers when they should be summoning wolves or vice versa, things like that. We're going to fix the lore a little bit to make it all make a little more sense. Some events might change, not necessarily drastically, but maybe if you want to think about like from movies, you know, the multiverse concepts where things are similar but not quite the same, changed a little bit, shifted a little bit. I think that that's going to be happening with the lore. And in fact, I know a lot of that's going to be happening with the lore in the set that will be happening after Invasion. Invasion is to get some cards out into people's hands, get some new cards, and it's a great starting point for us because it was mostly complete. But when the set after Invasions comes out, that's where you're going to get to see our storytelling vision start to take shape, and I'm really excited for it because we have some great people working on lore. Jeff and I are both creative people as well. We have some great ideas, and I think when it all comes together, you're going to really love the new revised lore and where the game is going to go in the future.
Yep, yeah, I agree with that. I think that's pretty much we're on the same page there. There were some inconsistencies that can be cleaned up, and
Mhm.
we're really looking at the vision going forward. So we'll tidy them up so that there is something there in the history for people to catch on to. But it's a go forward vision for us to write going forward and moving it forward for the most part. It's going to be some cleanup to go to then leap forward.
Yeah.
Did we get anything? Nothing came through in the chat right now. I know we're kind of still early on, but there's quite a few people watching. Do we want to do the video now?
Oh yeah. Let's
All right.
go ahead and reveal some cool stuff, right?
Sure. Sure. Let's see what we
So
got.
Janice, when you're ready, you can go ahead and hit that video. Good. All right, Jeff, what did you think of that?
I was
Oh,
very
thank you.
impressed. I see we snuck in another art that we hadn't revealed there yet.
That's
The
right.
one
Yes.
for Healing Wave there. Yeah, that was kind of new and exciting. Um, I think we're in the right direction now. If we're not at final stage, I think we're pretty darn close because I think everything there is quite clear. We've I think we've satisfied most of the things we were looking at, a little bit of feedback we got and whatnot from our first reveal. I think we're right about there, right about where we need to be now to start actually moving forward with this as the base design for things. I don't think there's anything really that's missing from it. Covers all the bases, I think. Um, Quite clear, easy for colorblind and non-colorblind people to see what's going on. Quick reference to the chi in the top right. We've moved costs over so that they're closer to the speed of the event that of the action you're doing. Sorry, the action, the swift. It's a weird one, it's action and action to say both those words together. But yeah,
Yep.
the event that you're doing. We've moved the awareness grid to the middle, which gives us kind of a rotation point. It sounds kind of arbitrary, but it's neat too that they're actually rotating around that middle point so that you're targeting from that middle point instead of from the header. Names at the top, just easier to read and follow. Very, very clear labeling for their affiliations now. The color, the symbols, everything is clear at the very top there. You can't miss it, sort of thing. I'm very happy with it. Um, the naming for the artist is great on the bottom. The numbering, mentioning if it's common or uncommon or rare or epic, things like that. I think it's got all the information we need without looking too crowded. Before things looked a little bit crowded, you'll get a little confused maybe with the text of it. So I think this is probably, if not there, it's got to be 95, 98% of the way there at this point. Maybe just a few tweaks for spacing if we need to at certain points. How about you? What do you think?
I'm happy that like there was so much feedback from the community on suggestions. And in the new design, you can actually see a lot of the suggestions that were implemented. For example, I believe it was a local game store owner who suggested possibly moving the cost of abilities over to the left-hand side so that when you're reading what abilities are available. You see the cost right away because that's formatting or templating that has been used in other games. They suggested that that might make it easier for players who are familiar with other games to grasp the information being displayed on the card if the cost
Hmm.
is on the left. So we tried that. We like that. Like you said, I like the now that the awareness is in the middle of the card. Personally, I like the fact the side benefit of that is that the name got moved to the top of the card, which is more familiar with some other card games as well, where the name you see at the top, along with the affiliation info. And I like that. Again, we're trying hard to make sure that when new players come to the game, that they can parse the information that's on the card easily and grasp it. And I think those are little tweaks that were suggested that are going to help a lot. And then I think my favorite tweak of all, which was another one that was definitely suggested by someone, I think I read it on a Facebook comment originally, was adding the color border all around the card based on if it's one affiliation or two. You have that small little rim of color inside the black border. And I really think that it pops a lot and it made it more cohesive. So I'm happy
Yeah.
with that too, because and those are just three things off the top of my head that I just thought of right now that I remember seeing those comments and that feedback. And I'm glad that glad that, and even the other comments or feedback that wouldn't work with this, whether it was contrary ideas. I appreciated all of it. It gave us a lot of things to think about. And I
Hmm.
mean, honestly, like we did a lot of different versions in the last few days of the cards, constantly tweaking them, trying an idea, seeing how it works with another idea, going back, going forwards. And it was great because I think that this new semi-final version of the card formatting really embraces the feedback that the community gave. And I think it helped us get to a better level with our card design than we necessarily might have reached if we ignored everybody and didn't listen to anything. So I'm glad for that. So a big thank you to the people in the community that came forward with some great ideas, some constructive feedback. uh, it was well received, and I think that it's improved the finished product. And like you said, it's not necessarily 100% locked in because we still have a little bit of time left. And if anyone comes up with a really brilliant suggestion, we would certainly consider it still. But if this wound up being pretty close to the final version, I would be very happy with it. And I think players, especially new players, will find it easier. So I think that's great.
Yeah, in all honesty, we could print it as is, and it's really down to the people with graphic design degrees that would be looking at it going, oh, maybe this, maybe that. Most
Mhm.
people will look at this and see this as a finished, completely completed design. They're not going to notice these little things that professionals notice, sort of thing. But yeah, we will still be doing minor tweaks here and there. We did take, like Jason said, we took all the feedback into consideration when we went through it. We didn't just grab two items, slap them on a card, and go sort of thing. We went through, I think it was another 12 renditions to get to this point, possibly. I'd have to check back in our notes, but something like that to get to this point. And I think we're pretty good. I think we're getting right in line there, which
Yeah,
is good. I'm very happy with it. And I think the people will be too. I'm assuming I'll throw these up on the website later this evening
yeah,
or early tomorrow morning. So we'll have the updated cards on there so people can peruse them, look at them, and enjoy them in all their glory. Because some of that art is fantastic. Like you saw that one we just did for Healing Wave there, right? Isn't that gorgeous? Like that. I love that
yeah,
style of art myself. It gives you like a almost like a rough oils look, which I really, really like. And I love when
yeah.
that sort of look comes out. I think there's a couple artists we have that do something very similar to that. And I'm really, really happy when I see their artwork. It looks like authentic, thick oils, which is a passion of mine. It's one art I can't do is oils, and one of the few I can't do. And I
Mhm.
really like it when I see it.
I
Um,
also big shout out for
sorry.
the corrupt opportunity art as well. I really like it a lot. So,
Oh, it's gorgeous. Absolutely
yeah,
beautiful. And I like the subtle nod in it too. You see the sword shattering has the phage colors in it because
yeah,
there's a lot of cards here that are designed color wise to match with the affiliation, and you see the green shattering of the sword, which really when you first look at it, you don't get it right away because it's a bluer character. The colors are a little bit more traditional, but you've got the green shattering of the sword, so it's done very subtly, which I really like. I'm very, very happy with Philip's work on that one. I think that was gorgeous. He did a really good job on that. Very,
yeah.
very impressed.
I agree.
Yeah.
What's next?
Um, so next we can go actually right into one of the questions here that we've gotten. We've gotten actually a couple times, I think, but it came through on the emails, which is where we're looking for the questions to come through now. So it's easy for us to
Sure.
parse. Um, and it was where is it here? Names on cards. So not the character name, not the artist name, but we've been asked about the creators' names on cards. Do you want to
All
field that
right.
one, Jason?
Yeah, I'd be happy to.
Yeah,
I'm going to start by asking you a question, Jeff, just
sure.
because I want to make sure I'm not mistaken. But if I recall right, I'm pretty sure that Genesis only started putting like a game designer's name on the cards with was it Julara Second Edition, and then Origins. I don't recall if it was on any sets before that.
I think maybe someone in the chat like JC or someone might remember. I think it has been a raise. JC just
Oh, it
said it
was
was with
Race.
raise.
Okay, it was with Race.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah. But I
so
do remember seeing it earlier on. Yes, I do. But most of them said um, most of them had a Sid's name, so it wasn't like there was anything different about them. They all said a
right,
Sid. Not
yeah.
all of them, but a significant portion.
So Jeff and Janice and I, we all had some talks before we even got started on designing cards. That we had some talks about what we thought of would be maybe some changes from the previous management that we'd want to make. And one of the things that we all kind of came to consensus on was we're not big fans of putting a game designer's name, a single game designer's name on a card, because in our experience so far with the new team that's developing cards right now, and based on feedback that I heard from other people who worked previously with them, and JC in the chat can correct me if I'm wrong with anything I'm about to say, but basically, with the way cards are being designed now here at Edge of Exile, it's very much a community-based thing where everybody's involved. Now, granted, somebody might come up with the initial ideas, but then all of us, it's kind of all hands on deck for reviewing the cards, sharing our thoughts on them, and then somebody who wasn't the original creator may contribute a bit of an idea to it. And I think as a company, our policy that we want going forward is we really want everybody on the team to be given equal credit for everything that gets put out, as opposed to maybe featuring one person who had the initial spark of an idea, or then you might get into a question of, well, they had the original idea, but I really added something that changed the card, and now it's completely different. Should it be my name on it? And I don't think as a company that we really want to worry about the individual getting credit as much as we all succeed or we all fail together as a team with the game design. And I think that's going to generally, as we go forward, make for a really healthy and friendly work environment where we're all just a team and we're all working together. Now, I'd like to know. Oh, I see JC's already starting to comment about it. Let's see. The original idea behind this was to hold designers accountable for what they point out. Oh, see, that's interesting because I think most of us would have assumed it was to give credit where credit's due, but it was to hold them accountable for what they put out, I guess, as a quality control means. The issue is with invasions, I do have stuff out there that things have changed, right? Also, another very good thing to point out that I don't think the general public is aware of, and I only heard about it from team discussions was in this set or the previous set, one of them, there was like 11 or 12 cards that Will had came up with originally, and none of them got his name put on them because at the time he wasn't part of the team officially. And I think that's a pretty big concern too. Like you can't be if the whole idea is to give credit where credit's due, or as JC says, maybe just to hold people accountable, you can't you can't put somebody else's name on it because I think you lose a lot of integrity there. So we're just going to avoid all that chaos and drama by just publishing cards as a company, as a team, and everybody will know when a set comes out who the collective team of designers were that was involved in it, and that's where the credit goes. Is it doesn't matter if you worked on 12 cards or 23 cards or whatever. If you were part of the team and you helped review all the cards, help design them, help give feedback on them, you're an equal part of it. You deserve the same credit as everybody else. At least that's how I feel, and that's how I would like the company to proceed going forward. How do you feel about it, Jeff? I don't know. I'm
Yeah,
thinking that's it, but what do you
I
think?
I feel the exact same way. I mean, really, no nothing is created in a vacuum, right? No one single person. Maybe early on, I'll give maybe that. Maybe Alpha Set was all Osid's idea. He just did it and he was done because it was all came out of his head. But beyond that, no, everything's designed with a team, with a group, with everything's gone through multiple iterations, multiple people. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, anyone in the chat who's been on the team to know if something was ever designed by one person, ground up, untouched by anyone else. But I mean, back in the past, they had Future League. Things went through Future League. It went through testing. It went through changing.
Right.
There's a lot of people involved. And to answer, Damien asked a question about guest designers. I think that's Jason spoke to that by saying whoever's involved in the design team is part of the design team. So we're not at a point with guest designers yet, but should that come down the road, that will be part of that system. There's no sense in giving one person credit, or as JC said, uh, blame, which I hate the idea of,
Right.
for a creation because it's created as a whole. It works with everything. It's part of the entire entity. Uh, we're not doing really anything different there than other card games do, and they do that for that very reason. Everything is created by a committee. It's not a one-off, one-person show sort of thing. They're created by a team of people to get the most amount of opinions in it, and the most diversity in it as well, because you don't want just one person creating something like that. So
And
I'm right on line with you.
Jeff, I think you're a little more familiar with a lot of smaller indie games than I am. Is there many games out there that actually credit a single person for game design on the cards? Because
Not in
not
my
any of the big
experience.
ones that I know of. Like I don't know of any of the big ones that I played before that do that. So
None of the major ones do, obviously, as everyone knows, anyone who's played the three big ones.
yeah,
None of the second tier ones, if you want to call them that, the ones that are spat out like crazy, you see on the next shelf in your LGS.
yeah,
And from the indie ones that I've been involved with or seen come out, I haven't seen that. Everything is just artist credit. It's always been an artist credit because the game is created as a whole. An art piece, even if it's directed by someone, that art piece is created by one person because they have the creative control over it. They get that
right.
project done and then it moves on from there. So that's why they get a separate credit because it is a one person job to get that art piece done. But the development of the card is always done by a group. I don't think I've seen it anywhere else. There could be maybe a one-off here and there. Some Kickstarters run a design a card option, so maybe on something like that. But that's not part of the entire game. That is a one-off. That one
Right.
card is designed by someone, possibly. But I do think that doesn't really work because even then, when someone designs that card, it still goes through the whole rigmarole of being tested. It's part of the whole group and it gets
Yeah.
adjusted and tweaked. So that one person, their genesis of the idea might have been there, but it's always put through different steps to get to the final end result, which is a team effort.
Right. Yeah, so it'd be fair to say that generally speaking, we're just shifting slightly just to kind of stay with what the industry standard is anyway. Oh, there
Mhm.
might be a minor exception, but for the most part, we're just doing what other companies do, which is focus on team
Yep.
development as opposed to
Yep.
singling people out. And
Yeah,
I
at this
think that'll
point.
just make for a better culture.
Yep, I agree. I agree. I see John said that a couple other people, like the Universal system, does it for people that have won certain tournaments and things like that. And yeah, we're talking about the whole thing as a whole, and I still believe at this point at least that that would be part of the design team. It wouldn't be a one-off. They would be involved in working with the design team to do something. They wouldn't get a single credit on it because I don't believe anything works in um, the old saying was no man is an island, but there's better sayings than that now. There is nothing that is created in a vacuum like that. It's not a one-off. It's all going to be created in a group effort sort of thing. So to give one person credit um, doesn't work on either side of that for the accolades or the other side of that. So I still think that's the right way to go forward. And at this point, that's what we're doing for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
Teamwork makes the dream work. David's right. So
Yep.
that's the idea. We have something else, another question that's come up a couple times that I don't mind fielding if you want. If you're okay with me sharing this, though, Jason, and that's what
What
our
it,
current plans are for. Oh, you're worried about what this is now?
I just gonna ask. I don't know where we're going.
We've been asked about our pack and card breakdown, our chases, what we're
Yeah.
planning to do. Are you okay with me sharing what our current plan is at this
Yeah.
point, at least what we've
Oh yeah.
discussed and where we think we're going with it?
For sure. It's another thing that we can get feedback from if everybody
Yep.
thinks we're way off base. So yeah.
Yep. Okay.
I don't have the info in front of me though. Do you actually have the actual like
I
numbers in
have
front of
the
you?
info right here on my screen, so please forgive me while I don't look at the camera and I look here to read it so that I don't mess anything up, okay?
Yeah, yeah,
I
let's
have
talk
things
about it.
broken down. I have things broken down as percentages. I have things broken down as per box, per case. I think the easiest way to do it is per box and per case and per pack so that these are numbers that people are used to seeing. So it's something that they'll understand better, I think. And I'll
Well,
try and speak slower than normal so that people can
yeah.
keep up.
If nothing else, I'll be able to understand in those terms. So if I can figure
Yes,
it out, I'm pretty sure almost everybody else will be able to handle it.
I hope so.
Yeah.
So this set, just to summarize, currently the set has 50 common, 47 uncommon, and 33 rare cards, plus 7 champions. So that's the breakdown of the types of cards that are going to be in the set.
How many is
What
that
you'll be
total?
getting, that is something that I did not total on the screen right now. So if you give me a minute, I
Ah,
can total it.
I got
But if
you.
not, I'm probably going to get it wrong. It's 100 and something. It's 100 and
Yeah.
change.
Yeah. Okay.
Round it off. It's somewhere there. I think it's 131 possibly. I got
Yeah.
to double
Sure.
check the numbers because the numbering on the cards isn't the number of cards in it. And I'll explain that in a moment why we're doing it that
Okay.
way. which is also a traditional way that card games do this sort of thing. So each pack at this point is going to contain 8 common cards, 4 uncommon cards, 1.75 rare cards. So we're not cutting a card, of course, to make that. What that works out to is as you move towards a box and a case, you're getting a chance to get a different card than a rare card. You get a chance to get an epic card, which can I explain to them what an epic card is going to be very
Of course.
briefly.
Yeah, yeah.
I think you're all used to it anyways. It's a full art card, an extended art card. However you want to word it, there's no border, basically.
Mhm.
And that's what you have a chance to get. The drop rate of those is at the current numbers that we're looking at, 35 per case. A case would be 6 boxes. So out of
Mhm.
every 6 boxes, there will be 35 epic rare cards,
So just under 6 a box then.
just under 6 a box.
Yeah.
And out of that case, you will also get 1 epic foil rare drop rate out of 6 boxes. So there's an actual chase to get that foil rare, that foil epic rare. There's going to be an actual chase to get it. It's not going to be a common that, hey, I cracked one of these in every pack, because that defeats the purpose of having that chase. That's the collectability factor, right?
Right.
When
There's
it
not
comes to champion,
I gotta
sorry.
say, I've always been disappointed when you hardly get any foils in a box, and the ones you get are like commons that you don't really care about.
Oh
It's
yeah,
almost
yeah,
it's like a bait and switch, right? You're like, oh, I hope I get a foil, and then you're opening pack, you're like, oh, I see foil on the back. What's it gonna be? Oh my god, it's a crappy card I've got 85
yeah,
billion copies of. So
yeah.
you're saying that won't happen, right? Like,
There are no common, no uncommon foils in our plan right now.
yeah, just
Uh,
rares and
I just
epics, all the
rares.
good stuff.
Yeah, just epic rares actually. Just full
Oh,
arts will
okay.
come in that. Yeah, even
Okay,
even
yep.
your regular rares are not gonna. The bordered rares will not come in a foil option. We want to make sure that
Oh,
it is an actual chase is the current plan.
okay.
Um,
Well, I'd love
but
to hear
along with,
feedback from people about that then. That's
of course,
interesting. Yeah.
along with that, the champions will be distributed at 22 per box. And the reason why it's 22, not all 24 packs, is because out of those packs, excuse me, you have a chance. There will be, let me look at my number here, per case, so per 6 boxes, there's a chance to get 11. I don't know why I'm holding up 3. There are 11. 11 epic champions. So those will be full art, extended art, however you want to call it, champions, and a chance per case to get 1 epic foil champion. So the champions will have a chase too. I know in the past there was a champion per pack. We're trying to keep that up, or not a champion per pack. There was a chance to get a champion in the token slot. We want to put a
Mhm.
champion per pack. So you're always getting a champion in every pack, which leads us to like game formats and things like that down the road. We have multiple options now, but the chase of a foil champion is moving on. It's down there. You got to dig in to get it. So there is an actual
Yeah.
chase for the collectability factor. Once again, none of these are unique. Uh, Mechanics wise, they are epics are just versions of the rares with a better art with a fuller art style. So you can play the game with all of your commons, uncommons, and rares that you get in your regular packs. But these are the nice fun chases that you can keep, trade, sell, whatever you want. They are actually a chase to try and get. Are you looking at different foil treatments? So with that covered, I'm going to jump over to the chat now because I haven't been looking at that and see how many people complained about it.
Okay.
Not kidding. Just kidding. Not how many people complain. See if they have some questions, which I think they do.
Yeah.
Nothing might go around. Used to in a few around. Okay, no, that's the Universes thing. Um, are you looking at different foil treatments, or are the only foils going forward to be a 1 per case epic foil? Uh, we are looking at different foil treatments, but we're still looking at
Yeah.
this breakdown for the foil treatments.
Yeah.
I personally am not a fan of just shiny cards, and that's just my personal take on it. And I think our team is kind of in line with that. We like the foils to be something actually special, not just, oh, this is shiny and hard to read because it's so dark. So we're going to try and get around that as much as
Yeah.
possible.
And we did get several samples of different types of foiling that our new printer company that we're working with
Yeah,
already currently offers. And there was one or two that really, really were eye catching where I was like, oh my God, I would love to see that on a Genesis card. So
yeah,
I don't think they're going to be just plain shiny foils, just like Jeff said. I think they're going to be like when you open one, it's going to have a really special vibe to it, and I'm excited for that.
To answer your question, Joey, we are looking at spot foiling. That's part of the process of us dealing with the printer right now is to see what our options are there from them. They do spot foiling. It's just a matter of finding out how they can work it into the workflow for our project. We are not looking at etching and things like that. I'm assuming by unique foil films, you're talking about uh, the way I describe it is I call them Pokemon foils, where the Pokemon foils have different styling to them. I'm assuming that's what you're
Or
talking about.
shapes in them and stuff like that, right? Like
Yes. Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
seen ones where they have like stars or hearts or whatever in the
Yeah.
foiling, different patterns,
Yeah.
right?
And
So
that's really what we're looking at, if that's what you mean by unique foil films. But not etching or anything like that. That's a step beyond that we can look at in the future. But right now we're trying to get it as efficiently and as built into what the printer is able to do, rather than trying to break new ground and cause any delays. We want to avoid that as much as possible. What else do we have here? Will
what's
there
our
be something
address?
exciting in each box?
Okay, go ahead.
Uh, yes, in the box there will be, because we've got the epic rares and the epic champions. Epic rares you will get in a per box, and the epic champions you should be getting in a per box. It is per case distribution, but that's to give it a little bit of chase. And from what we've been working on, Jason, and designing, and Janice, I think those epics are going to be pretty nice. I think they're going down the right road. They'll be a little
Yeah.
bit nicer than the past epics looked, just from some plans we have.
Hmm.
Please don't do what Score Entertainment did and do like 3 different foil patterns for their high rarity cards.
Can I talk to that for
Uh,
a sec?
yeah, go right ahead.
I don't know if I'm understanding JC quite right, but I'm assuming he's probably suggesting as well, similar, because I'm not familiar with that, but I'm familiar with Magic, right? And I would not want to do multiple different versions of the same card that are just slightly different and they're hard to tell apart.
Yep,
Yeah, like, and it's not foiling that I'm talking about in this case for a second, but I remember there was a Teferi that had like 6 or 7 different artworks and you could hardly tell them apart.
yep,
I wouldn't do that with foils either. I wouldn't do like the same card with 3 different foilings. It gets to be a nightmare for everybody, and who wants to be that much of a completionist? But there could be in the same set different artworks of different cards that get a specific artwork or foil for each one is what I'm trying to say. Right?
yeah,
Like we might
yeah.
use more
That
than
could be.
one foiling in a set, but each card would only get one type of foiling. We don't want to confuse people. Then it gets to be a point where it's a little ridiculous, you know?
Yeah, if you look at and I don't mean to belabor the point, but if you look at some of the new uh, Magic stuff that's come out, Magic the Gathering stuff, there are so many versions of certain cards that you really do have a hard time keeping track of it. I've had friends that have opened cards that they thought, not that the values matter, but they thought they had a $10 card, but they had a $100 card, or they thought they had a $100 card, but it was a $10 card,
Yeah.
because the variances are too close. It's too hard to tell them apart. We don't want to go down that road. It's a matter of, we have that foiled card. This is what the foiled card looks like. There's one foiled card.
Yeah.
Whether the foiling patterns are the same between cards, between different cards, is a different story. But on that one card, that's the way that card would come.
Yeah.
Let's see. Duelist. Oh, and welcome, Duelist. I haven't seen you here before. I don't know if that's true or not, but this is the first time I've seen you here. There was a few games like that, and had a lot of issues with printing, where the foil made you could not read the text on the cards. Yeah, no, I'm not a fan of not being able to read the cards. There's some indie games that have come out. People that are in the know will know what I'm talking about. They were so dark you couldn't read a thing on them. And that's not just my old eyes trying to figure it out. You basically need a flashlight and a loop to be able to figure anything out on it. Um,
Oh my God, read the next comment.
Serialized one of one chibi for Jeff. It's going to be me though on the card, going like this and saying my precious, and you can only get it if you've got the one ring to go on top of it. So I'm leaning towards the one ring. Okay, that's how we'll do it.
Oh, that's
I will
funny.
serialize anyone's card, even if it's not mine. I'll just write on it one of one, because it's the only one
There you
that's going to
go.
have a one and a one on it like that. But thank you, Madtown Hobby. You made my night.
That's awesome. Jeff gets all the love. It's all right.
I do. I
That's why
do.
you're in the company, to be the lovable partner.
That's it. Well, one of us has to be the cute, smart, handsome, adorable one, Jason,
Yeah. And
and the
then what am
brain
I?
and all that other stuff. And
Well,
then there's
what's
you.
left for me then? All right. I'll be your punching bag. I don't mind.
Just for tonight. Just for tonight.
Sure.
Just on Mondays. Just on Mondays. That's all. I get my
All right. Just on
my Monday
Mondays.
blahs out.
Perfect.
Do we have? So we don't have any more questions that came in through the email. Do we have any more
Okay.
questions that came through? Let's see. And the one and one has to be the brains. That's Janice, though, David. Janice is the brains of the operation.
Janice
That's
is the
why
brains.
she's
Yeah, I
smart
would
enough
agree
to
with
stay
that.
off camera as much as she can. That's,
Yeah,
that's where the brains come in. I pretend to
got to
have the
figure that.
brains, but that's just because I talk too much for anyone to talk over me.
Well, I
um,
really look forward to over the next few days. Hopefully, we'll hear some feedback from people either on Facebook or maybe comments submitted through the website. I can't wait to hear what most people feel about the new frames and the new formatting of the cards. I really think we're onto something great here, and I think most people are going to really love it. At least that's my hope. So I'm looking forward to getting some more feedback because once we can lock that in, then we can go ahead and start ordering in some sample cards from the printers and
mhm,
getting that next step closer to
yep.
getting invasions on a boat on the way to North America and the rest of the world. So exciting
Um,
times.
Question for you, Jason. Would
Sure.
you be willing to put those three images up on the Facebook group when we're done all this so that
Oh,
people
yeah.
can see them on there? Don't
Yeah,
even
I'll
have to
upload
ask for
them.
feedback, just put them up so these people have somewhere to comment on them rather than because they can't comment on the website when I put it there. And
Yeah.
it'd be nice to see it on Facebook. It's easier to track and follow there. And then people can jump over to ask us questions from the website too if they need to and things like that.
Yeah, before I leave the store tonight, after the live stream's done, I'll just take a moment and put all three arts up on a post in the discussion group, and I'm
Excellent.
excited to see what people think. That'll be a lot of fun.
Perfect. I'll throw them up on the website and I'll clean up the ones that are there as they get retemplated as well, so that those will go back up with the new templates on them. I'm probably going to leave them up. The ones that aren't retemplated, I'm going to leave them up as is just for a comparison temporarily, so that you guys have the old one and the new one to look at for a short while. But by
Yeah,
the end
what
of
a
the week, they'll all
difference.
be switched to the new ones, right? So
Yeah.
this way you know what you're looking at. So you don't look at it and say, could you try something that's the complete opposite and back to what we had before, sort of thing. You know where
Right.
we came from.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Do we want to watch the video one more time, Jason? It was a lovely video. I don't know who put that together, but they're pretty good at video editing, I think. Whoever
Oh,
did that. I don't know.
aren't you a sweetheart now? Well,
Who-
we'll run it again right before the credits then.
Okay, all right. So let's see if anyone else has any questions, any comments, anything coming through. Um, Anything else they want to talk about? I don't have anything new, fresh, and exciting really to go over. We've just been, like you said, going template crazy the last 4 or 5 days to get this where we want it to be as best we
Well,
can.
I might have one
Oh,
tidbit that I could share, but
go for
honestly,
it.
I don't know if I'm allowed to share it. I'm going to ask you if it's okay to share, and whether or not. Actually, I'll ask Janice because she's off camera. That way,
I was
nobody
gonna say,
can
what are you
blame
gonna
you for it. Well, just
do? Right, they won't hear.
I'm pretty sure that we've agreed on what the name for the next set after Invasion is. Have we?
Well,
We haven't yet. Okay.
if
So then,
no, no, no. Why is Jenna saying no? We haven't,
well, no, no.
or is
What are you
Jenna?
going to say?
I was going to say it is currently the working title. Whether it stays that way can
Yes,
always change.
that's
It's
fair.
code named,
Yes.
whatever you say it
So
is.
that's perfect. All right. So yeah,
Yeah,
it may or may not be the final name, but we do have a working code name for the set after Invasion, and I'm going to let all the people in the audience know what that is. The working title, which is subject to change for the set after Invasion, is currently called Metamorphosis. And I'm very excited about that set. We've already started designing some cards. We're going to
yep,
be actually doing a staff meeting later on tonight to talk with the rest of the team about cards that are already in design process for this
yep.
next set. And I am losing my mind with excitement for how great I think the set after Invasion is going to be already. It's going to be so much fun. And the great thing is, as far as our staff members go that work with us, our team members, Jeff and Janice and I have all made it very clear to them that no ideas are off the table. If somebody who works with us has a great idea and they want to bring it forward, we would love to hear it from them. Because
Mhm.
again, I don't want to put anybody down, but I guess in the past, maybe sometimes great ideas got rejected under the old company. And that's never going to happen here. If you have a great idea and it's better than mine, I will support your idea and we'll implement it into the game. The best ideas win.
There are no bad ideas other than mine, I've been told, which is 100% accurate.
Yeah,
Now, Jason, can I let you know what I'm going to ask you, but I'm going to say it anyways, even if you say no. I'm going to let a little tidbit out about Metamorphosis too, and that's that
sure.
there might be some new, I don't know if you'd call them mechanics, new things coming that might be interesting, is the
Yeah.
current plan. So
Yeah.
I think there's going to be some interesting things coming in Metamorphosis that will, um, I don't know if it'll surprise people, but I think people will be pleasantly pleased to see some of these things coming out. Will there be? I just think that sorry, I was about to read it, but I wanted to finish my comment.
Yeah, you
Um,
can finish your comment first.
yeah, I think there will be some exciting things because I know I'm excited about it. Because it's just a few different. It's not like a drastic change. We're not making like a sharp left turn or turning a 180. It's just more stuff as we've been asked in the past. Is there going to be new stuff coming? And there is. There's going to be some new things, some different things that will grow the game even more and get people interested. I think in different play abilities, play styles,
Hmm.
things like that. I think so. I was okay
For
saying that. I hope, Jason. Right? If not, you're gonna have to rewind and delete that.
No,
So
you're good. You're good. Yeah.
okay, awesome.
For Decks and Drafts, Joey's question. There's a part on the stupid phone app, and I can't read one of the words. Will there be announcements? I'm assuming it says of or over current staff somewhere on the site. Of okay,
I
yeah.
can read it of the current staff. Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere on the site. What are your current staffing plans? Well, Joey, it's funny you'd actually bring that up because that is one of the questions that I talked about and answered in the Q&A that's now up on genesisbattlechampions.com. But to save you typing the link and going over and looking up that specific question, uh, for those of you who might not know, we already have JC from the old team working with us, and Will has also signed on board, and he's actively working and getting paid to work to working on new cards for the next set. And then, in addition to that, there are some other people who used to work for the old company. But we reached out to everybody, as we talked about before, just to make sure everybody's okay and try and make sure everybody's good moving forward. And if some people who aren't currently employed with us decide in the future that they really want to try and get back involved with Genesis again, the door is always open to at least look at those options and hear them out. Again, as far as talented people go, we're always open because like we want to be the best company we can, and you don't turn away good talent. Is
Yeah,
that fair, Jeff?
no, that's for sure. I think
Yeah.
that's actually really good. Um, yeah, we wouldn't turn away like we don't turn away good ideas. Why would you turn away talent, right? If
Right.
something came up that worked out right and fit into everything, um, we'd be silly to do that. I would think.
Yeah. So
Yep.
that's where it's at right now. Everybody, I think everybody right now is where they want to be at the moment. I can't speak for people who don't work for us, but that's what I'm assuming is everybody's where they want to be. And I think we're all happy and we're all moving forward on our own paths, either here or somewhere else. And well, no hard feelings towards anybody. We wish everybody success, including people working on other games. Nothing but the best. Hope that they do really well. And
Mhm.
as we said, like the door is always open. If people themselves actually want to reach out to us, then they can reach out to us. But I
Yeah.
don't need a million friends reaching out, being like, "Hey, why aren't you talking to somebody?" No, no. If somebody wants to talk to us, they can do it
Yeah.
themselves. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Talking on other people's behalf is a little awkward. So yeah,
ridiculous.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I've had it in other jobs I've been at too, where people talk on other people's behalf. So if someone wants to, they can reach out. Our email's there. It's on the website. It's everywhere. It's
oh yeah,
hello
you
at
can actually click the
edgeofexile.com, um,
email it. There we go. There it is.
which will lead us into something else. But yeah, hello at
Yeah,
edgeofexile.com. Uh, email anything you want to there. We get those emails. We can read them.
yeah.
We have that ability.
And the graphic up on the screen right now refers to local game
Yes.
store owners and their managers. That if you know someone who's a local game store owner or the manager, if you have a local game store you love to play at, and you'd love to see them start bringing in Genesis and getting events going again, ask the local game store owner or manager to reach out to us at hello at edgeofexile.com because we have a great promotion going on right now to
Mhm.
try and help get stores playing Genesis again. There's some great financial deals. There's some great incentives. Some really cool bonus items that are from the past, from the distant past, in some cases of Genesis, that we hope that can help stores get people excited to be playing Genesis again, coming out to play in weekly events. We're offering a lot of great things to help get people excited and playing in stores so that when Invasion comes out later this year, most likely in the holiday season, that there's already going to be great communities all over the world playing again, and they can hit the ground running with an
Yeah.
excited community ready to embrace Invasion when it releases. So that's why that says that on the screen because we have some really great deals and some really great promotions for local game stores. And speaking as a local game store owner myself, I know the struggles. I've been through it a lot with other games, and Genesis is very, very motivated to be a great, financially rewarding, and just socially rewarding game to play. So we have some exciting things coming up in the future.
Yep. So please get your stores to reach out to us there, and yourselves too if you have as we went over before. If someone needs to reach out to us, that's where you get in touch with us.
Yeah, for
There's
sure.
another question there about the card design. Do you all have
Oh,
any of the new champion cards in the new style? And the answer to that is no, we do not. We were focused on getting the bulk of the cards done. We wanted to cover that basis primarily, get that
mhm.
ready to go. And now, as that is being kind of put through its paces with our internal team, the three of us can start working and looking forward to the champion side of things and seeing how those will pan out on a very similar layout. That will be the goal for the foreseeable future to get that done. Maybe we'll have something for next Monday with that. I'm putting the cart
Yeah.
before the horse there. Don't want to make a promise that I can't keep, but
Yeah,
that's
I
my
would.
target is to work on that.
I wouldn't want to commit you to something that you might not be able
Yep.
to get done in time. But
Yep.
the reason why the champions aren't done yet is because there's naturally different information that has to be on a champion
Hmm.
card versus other cards. And that means that like it's a whole new template, hopefully similar and still have those great vibes and whatnot. But like Jeff says, we want to focus on getting some of the other cards designed and ready for previews for people first. But if
Yep.
not next week, maybe the week after. Hopefully, very soon we'll be able to have a couple of the really exciting new champions in whatever the new format looks like, ready to share with people. Because I think if it's anything like the other cards, they're going to look great.
I think so. Yeah, I can't wait. I have a couple ideas, and we'll see how those. Well, I have a couple ideas, and I've heard a couple ideas from people, so we'll see how those pan out.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Will we
Oh,
follow,
and
Jason? Do you think a similar pattern to what we did here, where we came up with something and then let people comment on it? Do you think we'll follow that similar pattern when we come to the champions, or are we pretty settled on what we think we want? What do you think?
oh no, I definitely think I think we will try to give people a week to give feedback after our first version because honestly, we got some great ideas this time with the other non-champion cards. And who
Hmm.
knows what great brainstorms people will come up with after they see our initial vision for champions. You
Yep.
know, great ideas come from anywhere and everywhere. So I would personally want to give people maybe a week's time or whatnot to give us some good feedback so that we could work on it.
Yep. Excellent.
Sure.
Is there anything else coming up in the chat? I don't see anything there, but give you guys a couple seconds, a couple minutes to get through that. We're coming close to the 8 o'clock hour. We like to keep these to about an hour, I think, right, Jason
Yeah.
and Janice? It's good to give people just a little bit of something after, I'm assuming after their dinner, depending what time zones they're on. For me, it's
Yeah.
after dinner. Not everyone is, I guess. Um,
Well,
is there anything else?
maybe now would be
Sorry,
a good time to watch the new card reveals again. And
I
then
think
by the
so.
time we come back, if there's no questions in the chat, then we just call it a night and you and I, Jeff, will get offline and get ready for our next staff meeting. Because as
Sounds
much
good.
fun as these videos are, I also love talking to the design team and just brainstorming for the future. It's so much fun.
Well, we got to work at some point. For you, it's fun. For me, it's work.
I've learned over my life, especially as a game store, that you can have fun while you do work if you have the right
It's true.
job.
It's very
So
true. It is. It is.
so
I'm being facetious. So yeah, go ahead and run it, Jason. Let's see.
go ahead,
I mean,
Jeff.
Janice. Go ahead.
Oh, I love it. Every time I see those videos, it makes me happy.
Well, I do have one thought though, Jason, but call me crazy if you guys want.
Sure.
Because
You
cards are
and
vertical
you
and
are
videos
crazy.
horizontal. Yeah, because cards are vertical and videos horizontal. I love seeing them on the video. Should we just change the whole set to be horizontal? Will be the only card game you play with the cards horizontal instead? I mean, we haven't even thought of that for the layout. Maybe we should do something like that. What do you guys all think? Is that
I
an option? We can
I do
redesign
think
the
you're
whole thing from
crazy.
the ground up.
No,
Okay,
I'm pretty
okay.
sure you're crazy.
All right, never mind. Forget that idea. Bad idea. Told you, only the bad ideas come from me. So we're good. I didn't see any questions come through. Um, so I think we can call it a night and thank everyone for joining us. By name, Jason, I want you to thank every single person that joined over the last hour. You have a
I'd like
list
to
of that
thank
going?
I'd like to thank Duelist Sync JD. I'd like to thank David Clayton, Dex and Draft Joey. It's always a pleasure to chat to him. Mr. Alex, 21 Alex, great to see you again. Thank you for joining in the chat. On top of that, who else do we got here? I'm scrolling way up, way up. Damien. Damien, you've been here from the start of the video tonight. Thanks for tuning in, Damien. Always a great time to see you here. And I think that might be it. This Jeff Pasito clown who keeps chatting at the beginning, but I don't know who that guy is. So ignoring him, the rest of you sound really, really cool. And I'd like to thank you all for coming out tonight and chatting. It's been a blast.
Yeah, it has. Had a great time. Thank you very much. I didn't expect you to be able to do that, Jason. So that's props to you, man.
All right. Well, we got to go, folks. Thanks for tuning
Yep.
in. We'll be back here again
Thank you
next
all.
week on Monday night once again to answer all your questions and to reveal some fun stuff as we are once again on the road towards invasion. My name's Jason. On behalf of my co-host Jeffrey Pasito and the beautiful Janice Freeman, I get to say this. Take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you soon right here in the arena.